Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Monday. I hope you had a good weekend out there. I mean, we got March Madness, right? The basketball tournament's going on, and boy, gotta feel bad for Colorado State. They were right there against Maryland. Probably the best game of the tournament so far. Not too many upsets this year. Cinderella may not be dancing, but you know what? We need those distractions, don't we? I mean, everybody is. It just feels like the whole world's lost their minds out there. And over the weekend, I don't think too many things are a whole lot different, but that is why you continue to put your gold and silver away as you get prepared for the inevitable. Who knows whether it's blowing up of Teslas or tariffs, no tariffs, war, no war. I mean, there's so many different things. And then I don't know if you saw Howard Lutnick. He's, I guess, the economic advisor for Donald Trump. He's kind of, he reminds me a lot of Larry Kudlow, and that's not a good thing, by the way. You know, the ultimate cheerleader, right? You got those buddies, right? They're just homers for what, the local sports team or what have you, right? They're going to finish dead last, right? They're terrible. This guy, no, hey, we're going to do it, right? We're going to pull this one out. That's kind of him. He says some really weird stuff. He was doing an interview, and he started talking about, getting Social Security checks. And I know that there's people starting to worry, right? Are we not gonna get our Social Security checks? Right? They're between the Doge cutting back and the fact that we're broke. Those couple of things that you may I don't know. You may have to not get a check one month. And Jason, he was out there just saying, well, I got my mother, she's 94 years old. And if she didn't get her Social Security check, well, she'd probably just be like, well, something must have happened. And I'll probably get it next month. And I'm just sitting there going, wow. But you know what? When you're that rich, when you're billionaires like that, you really don't have any clue what the normal people out in the world do. And how would that give anybody any comment, right? His answer should have been, pretty simple answer, everyone's getting their check. End of story. Next question, right? That's the only answer. And instead, his answer was, well, gosh, the only people worried about not getting their Social Security check are fraudsters. Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, man. Those are the kind of things that just leave you questioning what exactly are we in for when you have, like I said, this guy's an important part of the economic team, and yet he's truly clueless about how the majority of Americans live right now.
Well, it's hard for the ultra wealthy. You're right. They live in a completely different world. And
you're right. It is hard. It's hard for those guys.
The Richmond, north of Richmond, they don't totally get it, do they? So the only thing that they fear is, well, if someone's going to come and take it away, right, Joe? That's the one thing. They don't have to imagine how everyone lives. They just need to make sure they don't live in the same manner. So, yeah, there's a disconnect. I get it. I'm sure there's a lot about being rich I don't have any idea about. The Elon Musk World Prize.
I want to have those ideas. I want to have those ideas, right? I obviously picked the wrong thing to do to have those kind of ideas. Yes, I would love it if my mom and you know what, anybody. Oh yeah.
I don't know, Joe.
Don't worry about your check. There's some payment. You'll get one next month. It'll be fine, right? No worry.
I imagine it. When you get to that kind of wealth, it's a little bit lonely, right? Lonely at the top. I get the feeling that you have a lot of fakeness in your circles, right? Everyone's.
I want to be that lonely.
Really?
I want to be that
paranoid and worried about who's going to stab you in the back from day to day. What business decision with your business partner is not going to work out, or who's going to do some leveraged buyout to blow up your stock holdings, all that stuff. I mean, it's got to be kind of a weird world to live in, where everybody is a possible enemy. Where, at least when you're on the lower end of society, you got your friends, right? You actually have to pay attention to your family because you physically and financially have to be there for their well-being.
If you don't want to rely on your friends to share their wealth with you, call the Patriot Trading Group, 800-951-0592. Get that gold and silver put away. AllAmericanGold.com is the website, and we got a great show lined up for you. Donald Trump just throwing out all kinds of different views on tariffs and what's going to be tariffed, what's not going to be tariffed. And wait a minute, you do business with these guys, there's going to be extra tariffs. Yeah, we'll try to sort it all out. When we get back. Stay with us. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason, Patriot Radio News Hour, sitting here on this Monday. As we're, almost wrapping up the month of March. We've got another bankruptcy filing, this time 23andMe. It's kind of weird, right? That's hey, let's find out what your heritage is, right? I'm an Italian. Wait, no, I'm not, right? Oh, wait, I was this or that. Of course, what they didn't tell you is really, what a great deal. Right, we could. I wonder how many cold cases have been solved by 23andMe, right? Where your grandkids or your nieces, nephews, someone does it. Next thing you know, right? Some unsolved mystery from 40 years ago gets solved because of it. They have filed bankruptcy protection. Nobody. It's kind of weird. The court is now going to decide what happens to all that DNA. Don't forget, we're also going to get core PCE, global PMI, and, of course, tariff talk. As we said, right now the Dow's up 500 points, mostly because tariff talk. The S&P's up 90. The NASDAQ's up 3. Let's call it 400. The 10-year note, 433. Crude oil higher today, up 75 cents. As we'll get to it. A new and interesting new tariff, a brand new one coming out today. Right now, gold's down 12, 30.12. And again, I guess it depends on where you look, because gold moves so much when we're looking at the after-hours markets and things of that nature. Silver, it just turned negative. Silver's just sitting right around $33 today, as the news of the day is maybe, possibly, the Trump administration, again, like I said, maybe, possibly, may have some leeway on the April 2nd tariffs. Okay. What kind of leeway? What are they thinking about? Nobody knows. Just that he could be open to potentially targeting some, long story short, Jason, he may be opening to not tariffing some stuff. The problem is, well, what stuff? Right? I mean, it's the 24th of March. And you know what? I was critical of the president's handling of the first round of tariffs. Right? Remember, that was it's going to start maybe. It's like, wait, no, make it March 4th. Oh, wait, we're only going to do these things. Right? And it kept changing. This time around, I don't know anything other than he said, well, maybe. Right? So not a lot of clarity, but that was good enough for Wall Street, right? They want as few tariffs, and again, that tells you all you need to know, right? The fact of the matter is, Wall Street is very much dependent on the rest of the world making all of our stuff. The hard part I have, listen, I don't mind. Hey, go ahead. Be up 500 points, at least for some good reason, right? And a good reason would be, well, we know what items are going to not be tariffed, right? That could be a good reason, right? If he came out and said, I don't know, energy's not going to be tariffed. Oh, hey, that'd be a pretty good reason, right? If he said, automobiles won't be tariffed, well, that could be a good reason. He didn't say any of those things. Matter of fact, he didn't say anything other than, well, I'm open to it. And then on top of that, this just coming out. This is a new, so we have the regular tariffs. Then we have the reciprocal tariffs, right? That's the April 2nd ones. Now we have what he's saying is a secondary tariff, a 25% tariff on Venezuela. Now, here's what's interesting about this. It's really not on Venezuela. It's on any country that purchases oil and gas from Venezuela will have to pay 25% to the United States. So, Jason, here you go. This is a brand new tariff. Venezuela, right? You know, they're the bad guys, obviously, right? They sent the, what was it? What's that game? Trey Alerga, whatever their name is, the Venezuelan street gang, right? We've all heard about it. They took over that hotel or apartment complex in Loveland, Colorado that made national news, all that stuff. Now, obviously, was it Venezuela's fault that Joe Biden opened the border and let anyone come in? I don't know. Did every country out there empty out prisons and send people to yeah, they all did it. But Venezuela, Jason, they've been on the bad guy bus ever since they decided that, hey, you know what? We're gonna be in charge of our own stuff and kicked out the oil companies and it made everybody upset. Hugo Chavez, now Maduro, and I'm fine with it, right? Okay. But again, this is the United States. When we think about why is it that countries like to join BRICS, why is it that countries are making these decisions to say, you know what, I better have something other than dollars? It was okay when it was just North Korea, Iran, Cuba, right? Throw Venezuela in there, right? Okay, it was okay when it's just them, but now they use it all the time, right? Oh, we're going to freeze all the Russian stuff. We're going to freeze that. Now this one, which is if you buy oil and gas from Venezuela, you now got to pay the United States a 25% tariff.
Well, and I think some of this has to do with it looked like an organized effort of selling off dollars. I think it was November and December coming into this year. And it wasn't the unfriendly countries that hold dollars. It was all of them. I mean, I watched a gentleman digging deep into this, and it was every single country. So there was an actual real sell-off. And, of course, you saw gold go up in November, December, right, Joe? And it's moving to January. And it looks like it's a safety measure more than anything. It's like we don't know what's getting ready to happen, so maybe we need to be a little less heavily in U.S. Treasuries, and it seems to have slowed. But Joe, there's these tariffs, which of course January 20th, that's when Trump was inaugurated and started talking tariffs. It seems like this is hey, we're going to push you back into dollars. That's what it really is. I think this is why you're seeing them sanctioning and pushing and trying to get these other countries back in a line, is because they're selling dollars. It for a while there, before November, December, it looked like whatever was being sold off by some countries were being bought by other countries, and the foreign holdings were still kind of going up. But it's really going down, Joe. It's actually going down. So I think the tariffs and tariffs against friendly nations and some of this behavior might be the fear of losing the grip over these foreign nations' dependence on U.S. Treasuries, Joe.
Yeah, and again, I get it, right? They've done a good job of convincing us, right? Venezuela, who I don't know, right? Outside of maybe providing some Major League Baseball players, right? What have they done? I don't know. Not a whole lot. Are they a threat to invade the United States? I certainly don't think that's anywhere close to a remote possibility. And yet, right, they're one of the huge bad guy bus drivers. And I only bring this up because, listen, who is buying? So let's think about this. Who is this really meant for? Right? Because who is out there? What country's out there buying Venezuelan oil? Right? We've got the same thing. He did this with Iranian oil last week. There's only one nation that really buys it all, Jason, and that's China. Right? This is again a roundabout way of going after the Chinese. And, of course, the Chinese, well, let's face it, right? They're the biggest country in BRICS. So maybe it makes sense here. I don't know. Is this a battle that we should fight, need to fight? And is this the right way to fight it? I think that's really the question. And you know what? I'll be honest. I don't have that answer.
Well, there's one place that dollars can always buy something, and that's in America. So if you sell it all off, all those dollars come here. You don't really have to print up too much money to get that inflation rolling, right, Joe? You can just have foreign nations dumping. All those dollars come here. What would you trade it for? And what are nations trading their treasuries for? They're selling them off. Well, what are you going to do with it? And that's where it seems like some of this gold buying is happening, and this rush to safety for the uncertain future.
Yeah, it's an interesting, I guess, strategy. I don't know what's the gain here. We are definitely ratcheting up. Either way, I guess Wall Street likes it. This is going to drive up energy prices, right? Because either one of two things. China stops buying oil from Iran and Venezuela, which I think is the most likely outcome, at least I think. Well, Jason, which just simply means that oil's got to be purchased from somebody else, right? That's definitely going to have an effect on energy prices going forward. I don't know that that's going to help the inflation front, but that's kind of the news today. So I'm not really sure. There may be some leeway on the tariffs come April 2nd. We didn't really get any details other than there may be some leeway. And then, of course, the latest now, which is the tariffs on anybody that decides that they want to purchase Venezuelan crude oil is going to be charged in a a 25% tariff payable to the United States. And then, of course, obviously, we've already put a 25% tariff on Venezuela already. So this will be another one. Anybody that decides to buy energy from Venezuela, that'd be funny. What if the Chinese said, you know what, okay, what if they did it? What if they did it? What if they paid? Would that, how would that go over?
How would a tariff between Venezuela and China even work if they decided not to pay it?
Well, right. I didn't even go to not pay it, right. Yeah, that would be. I don't want to see that, right? Because then you're forcing Donald Trump to respond, right? You're Trump is kind of saying, "Hey, I'm going to bully you." I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll have to wait and see what China has to say. I know over the weekend some tough talk was coming out of China. They were saying, "Hey, let's get it on," right? 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason here on this Monday. I mean, do we worry? Should we be worried? What is going to be the ramifications of all of these actions? You know, it's hard because I think for a lot of people, right, we kind of feel a little, get them, right? Let's go get them, right? We're tired of, the Joe Biden was a patsy. Let's get all aggressive. You just don't know how these things are going to work out. And that's the thing, the beauty about having your gold and silver put away is you can still be the rah-rah guy, right? You can still be Howard Lutnick. You know, hey, if you don't get a Social Security check 1 month, it'll be fine. It's probably just a mistake. You'll probably get one the next month, right? You want to be that person. Having your gold and silver put away, Jason, allows you to do it. The ones that got to worry are the ones that don't. Because what if it doesn't go the way that we think it's going to go, right? What if I don't know, right? The Chinese decide, you know what? Hey, we're going to do what we want. Or heaven forbid, maybe they do exactly what we want them to do. Okay, fine. You know what? We won't buy oil from Iran. We won't buy oil from Venezuela. Heck, we won't even buy it from the Russians. Are you ready, right? Do you want to go back to paying $3, $4, and $5 a gallon for gasoline? I know I sure don't, Jason. I mean, that's just me.
Well, let's see what happens, because there's a lot of this stuff that's being tossed around, the things being said. Sure seems like they're going to contract the production, doesn't it, Joe? Sure, and it sure seems like they're going to push us into this next summer as higher oil prices, so that I guess people get the idea that things are real serious. Because I know that what people want in America, they want Trump to enact policies that will get rid of the inflation and economically fix things and lower prices and a better opportunity for Americans. But it just seems like everything we look at, it has some, every time we hear someone said, every news story we hear, it just seems like, okay, there's a whole lot here that means bad. There's a whole lot here that means bad. I mean, I'm seeing a lot less businesses operating this year than I saw last year, Joe. It seems like a lot of people have tightened to the point where some of these small businesses are just disappearing quickly. It's every year we see less and less and less small business and more mega stores, and that has never stopped. That's been going on for decades, right? And that's not. If things were getting better for Americans economically, and if they were heading in the right direction, we should start to see an easing of that. There should be a little bit more prosperity. And It just seems like there's the haves and the have-nots, right, Joe? There's that actual middle class seems to really evaporating as we speak.
You know, the other interesting part, it was on CNBC. You may got, Drudge if you, if you're into the liberal side of the news, you can find it there. But they're saying that tax collections are going to drop by more than 10% compared to last year. This was from the Washington Post, so take it for what it's worth. But they said officials from the IRS and Treasury Department, they said not one, not two, but 3 people with knowledge of the situation. The loss of tax receipts is expected as more individuals and businesses don't file taxes or attempt to avoid paying balances owed to the IRS. The total amount of lost revenue could top $500 billion. Now, of course, that would be more than 10%. We collect about $4 trillion in taxes. I don't understand why this would be the case. I mean, yes, our tax collection's going to go down from from last year to this year. Yes, because, well, as we know, right, businesses aren't quite making the money they made, right, and even even the big companies, right, they're not quite making the money that they made. People are working less hours. Right? They're not necessarily, are they unemployed? Maybe not. But they're not working the amount of hours that they're accustomed to. But, Jason, they're saying that, Doge, they cut a lot of people, so I guess apparently that means businesses and people aren't going to file their taxes. I don't follow that logic at all. I don't think that it will be to the tune of 500. It better not be 500 billion, right? That's another reason. Hey, what do I go? Well, just in case these quote unquote 3 people happen to be right.
Yeah, well, and if you fire a bunch of people, they need jobs somewhere else anyways, right? so then that makes
I think they were saying, we fired these people from the IRS, and now all of a sudden people aren't going to pay their taxes. Listen, whether there's, I'll be honest with you.
No.
Whether there's 80,000, 100,000, 2 million people working for the IRS, it makes no difference to me. I'm filing my taxes. Right? Whether or not, I don't care if there's one person there. Until they tell me I don't have to, I'm going to be doing it. And I think most Americans feel the same way, right?
I don't know. What if 100 million people stop paying their taxes? Would you join then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You get 100 million people doing it.
Well, I meant at the IRA. They're just saying, there's less people working at the IRS, so people aren't going to pay their tax. I think that's a nonsensical logic. Is revenue going to go down? Yes. Here's what they're trying to set you up for. Because tax revenue is going to be lower. I promise you, tax revenue is going to be lower. And then they're going to blame Doge. Right? It has nothing to do with the amount of people working at the IRS. It just simply has to do with the fact that, hey, things aren't quite as good as they were the last few years. Because why? Well, money's run out, right, Jason? I mean, that's kind of the big reason.
That's right. I just mentioned it seems like there's less people having less opportunities. They're spending less money. I mean, when I hear people saying that going out to eat fast food is a luxury, that means they're not spending as much money. So that means they're not earning as much as well, Joe. And quite frankly, we'll see how much the budget's going to be, how much the government going to spend.
I don't need a lot of fast food, but that stuff ain't cheap, man. Gone are the days, you know. When I was in high school, you had $2. Hey, Burger King, Taco Bell, McDonald's, right? You got yourself a meal. Yeah, that ain't happening anymore. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason on this Monday. Got two different great opportunities for you in the gold market right now. You got gold once again sitting above that $3,000 level. We're not $3,300 yet, but we're closing in right now 30.15 as gold looking at new higher highs, higher lows. We've got $20 gold pieces today, $31.65. So you're talking about $150 over spot. $10 liberties at $1,595 at 800-951-0592. And, we're sitting here, like I said, today's a good day because of hope, right? We're hoping Donald Trump's going to soften his tariff stance. Listen, I want everyone to understand, because this is important. He can't. Can he make some exceptions? Yep, he can. And he can say, I'm not going to tariff this, or I'm not going to tariff that. But this is a major piece of their financial platform. They are committed, right? We have no budget. We have no idea what the debt is right now. We don't know, right? Because we're on emergency measure. The Federal Reserve is so worried that we only are going to sell $5 billion a month off the balance sheet. I don't know why they don't go to zero, but why? Because there's too much debt out there. We can't do it. And everybody, really, if you really ask them, why is Wall Street really up 500? It's simple. It's not because they don't think tariffs, or they think tariffs going away. No. They think the Fed's going to cut rates. They think quantitative easing is going to be coming back. Believe me. And you know what? It might. It might. But it won't be for a good reason. Right? That'll be because we have gone hard into a recession that they feel like they're going to need to do it. But understand, they want to get, so there's going to be no budget this year. As far as I know, I don't know that have we ever done that before? I don't think so. Went a whole year with no budget at all. By the way, haven't heard from the rating agencies yet. We will. But come September for 2026, right, they want to get the tax cut. And the tariffs is how they're going to pay for it. It's just that simple. They're not going away. I know Wall Street doesn't want to believe. They actually think all the tariffs that we've already put on, they think they're all going away. He'll take the tariffs off the Chinese. He'll take it off Mexico and Canada. And he's going to target the... No, he's not. No, he's not. That's not what's going to happen. They want, ready for this, they want inflation. They also want a recession. I'm convinced of it now. I remember when I first heard that, like a month ago. I'm like, oh, that's ridiculous. No, it's not. Because I think they already know how bad the budget deficits are really going to be. And imagine if tax revenues really went down by $500 billion, holy crap, we got a problem. Right? That we won't be talking about $3 trillion budget deficits. We'll be talking about 4. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, I don't see how any of this helps me, the average American citizen, or anyone listening. Because the tariffs are going to make the prices go up. I guess lowering the taxes is good, but if the tariffs are put into effect and the cost of everything goes spiraling upward. Of course, there's going to be tariffs on the way going out, which is going to hurt the businesses that are trying to employ the people that are here. Joe, it just looks really bad, doesn't it? It just seems like an unsolvable situation. It looks like that we have to have a recession / depressionary situation to balance everything off. How about this? It sure feels like we're in a recession now in a lot of ways, doesn't it, Joe? It just doesn't seem like there's a lot of progress in business going in the right direction. There's some rich guys getting richer, but it doesn't feel right, does it, Joe? I know the people that I talk to in the years that I've been doing this, which is 7 years, and I've never heard more gloom and doom about financial where people are at and where they feel like they're going. It's the worst I've seen, Joe, since I've been doing this.
It's interesting because I think for a lot of people, they're like, okay, man, they probably can't listen right now. They probably can't listen to the show right now because they can't afford to think this way, right? They're like, no, I somehow we're gonna. When we get to the other side, things are going to be a lot better. We just got to get to the other side. And I think this is where at least for me, this is where the big disconnect comes in. Because they want to give you this illusion that getting to the other side is going to be really fast. And I want it to be fast. Problem is, that's actually never happened, right? It'll be the first time if it does. I'll just say that, and I think you're right. A lot of people they're barely getting by now. Let's just say that. 800-951-0592. Jason and I will be right back after the break. We're back here, final segment. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll see how this week shapes up, right? By this time next week, right? We're sitting here talking about, okay, we're going to find out, I guess, what the tariffs are going to look like. But if you want to understand where the consumer really lies, and forget about, and this is probably something, we make fun of Lutnick in his idiotic responses to the press, this week. Well, if my mother-in-law didn't get her check, it'd be fine. If something happens, she'll get one next month. Yeah, it'd be great, right? Why? Well, you're a billionaire. I'm sure you can help her out, right? They truly don't know. I don't know that I have vision to this. DoorDash. They partnered with one of these fintech companies. That's, what? We haven't really talked about fintech. We'll probably have to do it, man. Maybe I'll try to do it this week. Very, very dangerous. If you're involved in fintech, because they do offer these fintech companies like really high saving rates returns above what the banks would ever offer. And then they say, well, it's through an FDIC bank, so it makes you feel good? Nope. The bank's FDIC insured, not the fintech company. And let me tell you what happens when there's a problem. The bank cuts off the fintech company, and then you don't get access to your money, period. Just telling you, be careful. But they're partnering it up so people that order DoorDash, Jason, they don't have to pay. Well, at least not in full. You can pay in 4, which allows you to pay for your purchase in 4 interest-free installments or pay later, which allows the customer to defer payments for up to 30 days. So, yep, Jason, you know what? I'm so broke. I got to order my DoorDash, but I can't pay for it until later.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. I was talking to one of my wife's friends who lives in an apartment building. He's been there for years. And he said in the years he's been there, he's never seen someone come home with a bag of groceries. none of the, it's like one of those 24 building, plexes. He sees the DoorDash. He sees the food delivery. He sees the bags of McDonald's coming in the door, but he never sees groceries coming in. And I know it's more expensive to buy groceries, but it sure goes a lot farther than your fast food and your DoorDash. And maybe that's when we actually see the pain of the markets. When suddenly people are living in the 24-plex buildings are bringing home bags of groceries instead of bags of McDonald's. Maybe that's when we actually are going to see the fear and the craziness of the markets unfolding, Joe, when people actually have to go get their food and make their food because they simply can't afford the convenience of some deep-fried bag of goodies being delivered and then paying 4 installments or wait a month. I mean, it's crazy. We always said that, you put people that use credit cards and they just build it up and build it up and build up, and they're paying just the minimum payments for year after year after year. And then like 10, 15 years later, you're still paying interest on a Taco Bell taco from the 1900s, basically, Joe. There's probably people out there here in 2025 probably still paying interest on a Taco Bell taco from 1999, right? It's probably happening somewhere. Someone's doing that.
Hey, I'm sure, you know what, I don't know, I didn't look, but I'm sure DoorDash stock was up today on the news.
Man.
Hey.
All right.
Just pay for it later.
Usury.
How later? I don't know. How late do you want to pay it? 800-951-0592. Yeah, you may want to get some more gold and silver put away. By the way, you do need to pay for it. We're back here. Final segment. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll see how this week shapes up, right? By this time next week, right? We're sitting here talking about, okay, we're going to find out, I guess, what the tariffs are going to look like. But if you want to understand where the consumer really lies, and forget about, and this is probably something, we make fun of Lutnick in his idiotic responses to the press, this week. If my mother-in-law didn't get her check, it'd be fine. If something happens, she'll get one next month. Yeah, it'd be great, right? Why? Well, you're a billionaire. I'm sure you can help her out, right? They truly don't know. I don't know that I have vision to this. DoorDash. They partnered with one of these fintech companies. That's, what, we haven't really talked about fintech. We'll probably have to do it, man. Maybe I'll try to do it this week. Very, very dangerous. If you're involved in fintech, because they do offer these fintech companies like really high saving rates returns above what the banks would ever offer. And then they say, well, it's through an FDIC bank, so it makes you feel good? Nope. The bank's FDIC insured, not the fintech company. And let me tell you what happens when there's a problem. The bank cuts off the fintech company, and then you don't get access to your money, period. Just telling you, be careful. But they're partnering it up so people that order DoorDash, Jason, they don't have to pay. Well, at least not in full. You can pay in 4, which allows you to pay for your purchase in 4 interest-free installments or pay later, which allows the customer to defer payments for up to 30 days. So, yep, Jason, I'm so broke. I got to order my DoorDash, but I can't pay for it until later.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. I was talking to one of my wife's friends who lives in an apartment building. He's been there for years, but he said in the years he's been there, he's never seen someone come home with a bag of groceries. None of the, it's like one of those 24 building, plexes. He sees the DoorDash. He sees the food delivery. He sees the bags of McDonald's coming in the door, but he never sees groceries coming in. And I know it's more expensive to buy groceries, but it sure goes a lot farther than your fast food and your DoorDash. And maybe that's when we actually see the pain of the markets. when suddenly people are living in the 24-plex buildings are bringing home bags of groceries instead of bags of McDonald's. Maybe that's when we actually are going to see the fear and the craziness of the markets unfolding, Joe, when people actually have to go get their food and make their food because they simply can't afford the convenience of some deep-fried bag of goodies being delivered and then paying 4 installments or wait a month. I mean, it's crazy. We always said that, you put people that use credit cards and they just build it up and build it up and build up, and they're paying just the minimum payments for year after year after year. And then like 10, 15 years later, you're still paying interest on a Taco Bell taco from the 1900s, basically, Joe. There's probably people out there here in 2025 probably still paying interest on a Taco Bell taco from 1999, right? It's probably happening somewhere. Someone's doing that.
Hey, I'm sure, you know what, I don't know, I didn't look, but I'm sure DoorDash stock was up today on the news.
Man.
Hey.
All right.
Just pay for it later.
Usury.
How later? I don't know. How late do you want to pay it? 800-951-0592. Yeah, you may want to get some more gold and silver put away. By the way, you do need to pay for it.